at All Saints Cathedral, where the police with goons raided our mothers and grandmothers who had gone to protest at Freedom Corner because of their sons who were political prisoners. And All Saints Cathedral became the refuge of an onslaught by police and goons. That sanctuary, the church, was raided by the then Moi regime of people who are simply advocating for the political rights of our people, and especially their sons. That was a failed regime displaying itself. So 34 years later, people who have innocently gone to debate our economic rights, a budget, are raided by the same goons, protected by a failed regime. And I want to tell you, it tells you that these are the end times of the regime of William Ruto. They are showing their signs more and more every single day. So we want to say we are with you, All Saints Cathedral, and we commensurate with you during this time. We know those culprits will not be brought to book. We know the impunity that is going on, but God sees all. So let us have faith. The second thing I want to talk about is the finance bill. I want to call on a total rejection of the finance bill. The finance bill is hoping to levy taxes of another 120 billion shillings from us. We cannot afford it. This is money that is not going to help us. The budget is not a people's budget. It's a budget premised on sustaining illegal borrowing and a government continuing its impunity on us. I urge Kenyans, I urge Parliament to completely reject this finance bill. Kenyans can no longer you tell us it is not direct tax to us. We know at the end of the day, we are going to bear the burden of that tax that you put on anybody that manufactures, anybody that imports. That cost comes. So don't try and fool us. Don't try and fool us. The CS had previously promised a budget that he was going to reduce taxation. That's clear. And we all know why. We are alive to the incompetence and the lies of this regime. The third point I would like to make is I was very happy to see my good friend Aden Duale on the Thursday last week when the budget statement was read, acknowledge a very important aspect of our finances. Aden Duale, who as you well know is an insider in this regime, is a CS in this regime, and previously Aaron Cheriot, accepted a very major thing. He said that there has been illegal borrowing and he attributed it to the Uhuru regime period. Thank you, Aden Duale. The assertion we've been making about ODS debt. Now, if that is the case, why does this regime pay for illegalities? The only reason you are paying for those illegal debts that you are claiming exist, and make note, these illegal debts have been even mentioned by the Auditor General, by the Controller of Budget. The only reason this government of yours is still paying those illegal debts is because you must be accomplices. You are together in that illegality, and if not, Prove to us that you're not, by stopping to pay those illegal debts you are claiming were done by Uhuru Kenyatta. Cut them off today, Bwana Duale. Cut them off, Bwana Badi. Cut them off, William Ruto. Cut them from this budget instead of coming to charge us more taxation through the finance bill. Kindly cut them off to prove to us that you are not part and party to those illegal debts that you claim were taken during Uhuru Kenyatta's period. There's something else Adan Duale said. He said that this regime of theirs, under William Ruto, is not taking illegal debt. And this comes to my fourth point. If you look at what is called the budget revenue estimates, which we are going to circulate copies, those copies are going to tell you that in those budget estimates, according to Article 220 of the Constitution, they constitute the revenue estimates, the taxes the budget is going to collect, the grants and the loans that they wish Parliament to pass in this coming financial year. If you look at them, and we are circulating these copies, you will find there is an aspect called domestic debt, domestic loans, domestic borrowing. In the budget statement last week, CS Bandi said that they are going to borrow 1.03 trillion in the domestic market this coming financial year. I ask you to look at the page, the table of contents of those budget estimates before Parliament stipulate as net domestic borrowing at page 24. When you go to page 24, you will find there is no net domestic borrowing number. It does not exist. It is zero and has never existed. Even in the previous years, if you look at each column, has never existed. So this claim of domestic borrowing being legal, it is not. It has never been. It is never passed by Parliament. And you are doing it again this year. So there are two things I would like to stress, apart from the illegality. One, that we know this domestic borrowing does not exist, and there's nobody really that is taking this domestic debt to the tune of 7 trillion. There's no such money in the market. This is fake. Number two, anybody that is now going to pretend that you are buying treasury bills and bonds in this next financial year, no, it is not anchored in our laws, it has not been passed by Parliament, and you will never be paid. This is odious to Kenyans. We are not sovereign to it. We will not pay you. Buyer beware. It is your risk. I am telling you, that paper, you will throw it in the dustbin, because this regime will change, and it's going to change next year, and it will not be honored. I advise you, and I advise all Kenyans, do not buy a treasury bill. Do not buy anything to do with treasury bills or bonds. They are fake, completely fake. The fifth point, I just have 6 points. The fifth point I want to make is, I saw a comparative so-called budget you put in the media, the people's budget. I don't know people's budget in which people, because my colleagues, and I will say they are my colleagues because we are in the opposition, called led by Kalonzo Musyoka, they call themselves the United Opposition, came out with a people's budget. They claim a people's budget. And that people's budget is not too dissimilar to John Bandi's budget. It is about tax, debt, and borrowing. He even proposes the same illegal borrowing, domestic borrowing of 500 billion. Please, Kalonzo Musyoka and my good colleagues, stop letting us down. You're letting